Hey everyone, this is our weekly podcast where we go over hot topics in the NFL. We are the football tailgaters. With me today, I have Yams, our Jets fan, Andy, our unbiased NFL fan, and myself, Aaron, a Cowboys fan. We just went over with the draft. The draft just happened, so we have a lot of draft talk here. We're also going to talk about a little bit of trades that also happen before and after, right? So let's start with the NFL draft that just happened. And we'll get the obvious question out of the way, guys. Who won the NFL draft here?
I think everyone feels that their team won the draft, but I have to kind of agree with every news outlet out there who have said the Eagles. I feel the Eagles have reloaded after an appearance after Super Bowl, which is unheard of to do what they did on the draft. And they went down and got Jalen Carter.
Yeah, I agree. And above that, they also got a linebacker, Nolan Smith. And they beefed up their offensive line with Tyler Steen. And they traded for Swift from Detroit Lions. So if Swift also turns out to be extraordinarily good after that injury that he had, then the Eagles are just top of the NFC again.
Yeah, after their crazy run that they had going to the Super Bowl and almost winning it all, this is a great start for them this offseason. Sadly, that really irritates me as a Cowboys fan. But the Georgia-Philadelphia Eagles are going to do, I think, pretty good this season because they just beefed up everything that they needed to beef up. And they didn't really have to do any crazy moves. They got DeAndre Swift as well after this whole crazy draft went. And it's just really, really, really bad for the rest of the NFC East.
Now, they picked 3 players from the Georgia Bulldogs, which is really interesting to me, starting with Jalen Carter.
Last year, they did the same thing, too, if I'm not mistaken. They were very heavy on drafting players from Georgia. So it seems like they have a comfortable spot here where they pick up their players from there, and they like them. They like the Bulldogs.
And it's working.
Yeah.
I think the Cowboys should, ruin their draft next year. Just saying.
Okay, so who would you say the biggest NFL draft of this year, 2023? Who would you say the loser of this draft is?
The loser for the draft, honestly, that's really difficult because we don't know what's the loser until until the season starts, right? But if I had to pick one, I would choose Detroit Lions. They did draft Jahmyr Gibbs just because running backs are known to be a pretty bad investments in the first round. So, and they also, well, I'll just leave it at that.
Well, for me, it was the Chicago Bears because they had the opportunity to draft the best player in the draft, which is, in my opinion, Jalen Carter. They just let the Eagles just take him. And the Chicago Bears, they do need some defensive help. We all saw how bad they were on defense. They couldn't stop anybody.
I would probably say this is the Atlanta Falcons, only because this is, I kind of go with what Mel Kiper says on you never draft a running back in the first round. And I think this was a big mistake on their part. But I think they were just more of a, we'll take the best player left on the board. And if I'm not mistaken, what was their, they were in the top 10, but were they number 9 or were they number 10? You guys remember? It was number 9. No, they had number 8. They had number 8 draft pick.
No. He was picked 13, I think.
No.
It says here 8. It says here 8. I just popped it up.
Yeah.
So they're number 8. And then I want to say whenever Carter got drafted, they were number 9. He was number 9. So they were looking at their list and they saw Jalen Carter available and also Bijan Robinson.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they're stupid if they didn't pick up Jalen Carter.
So you see what I mean? Biggest mistake. This might be for them short term, definitely going to be great. Bijan Robinson, best running back in the class by far, in my opinion. He looked like it, and he's going to do a great job over there. I'm not wrong, I think they even did they draft an O-line too?
The Eagles?
No, Atlanta.
Oh, Atlanta?
They got a tackle. They got a tackle and a guard in the 7th round. So they got a tackle in the 2nd round. So,
not only that, though, but Atlanta, they are getting star offensive players the last previous years, and they're not even being used. Didn't they also, they had the tight end
Tyler
Pitts, and they didn't use them.
Yeah.
They also had London
Kyle Pitts
as well last year, and that wide receiver did not produce anything. And now they got the top running back. I don't know what's going on in Atlanta, but they're just they're just having players there with top offensive weapons, and they're not even using them. We'll see what happens this year, but for me, it's not. I'm not like excited to see this offense at all.
Right. What about the best quarterback? Who of this draft, the NFL 2023 draft, who is the best quarterback drafted here?
In my opinion, I think Houston might have gotten it right with the talented CJ Stroud. He has the size, he has the accuracy, and Bryce Young is just a safer pick at number 1. Anyone who was at the number 1 pick would have picked Bryce Young. It's just so you don't mess up the franchise pick at number 1. Everyone hypes up Bryce Young so much. So I think CJ Stroud will be the one that comes out winning at the end.
Well, just like you said, for me, it would be Bryce Young because he is the safest pick. At this moment, we don't know any of these guys are going to work out. And that's how it usually comes out. And maybe one quarterback that was drafted later, like Stetson or Will Levis, is going to be turning out to be the best quarterback of this draft. So as of right now, it's Bryce Young.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, but I really hope it's CJ Stroud because I think he might have the higher ceiling here. And especially with the way that Houston seems to be handling it. They're playing it to where they want to make sure he's going to have his weapons. It's going to have a stacked defense. So he's going to have a good time developing there, hopefully. They just got to be careful with that O-line to make sure they're properly protecting him here. But to me, I think CJ Stroud seemed a little bit more exciting to watch rather than Bryce Young. I don't think Bryce Young is bad at all. I just think that CJ Stroud has slightly of a higher upside here.
I mean, it could be. The only thing is that in Houston, even though they're doing some good moves, but I don't see that team like even close to being competitive at all. Maybe in 2-3 years. I don't see anything so exciting. They haven't traded for big time names in the offense. I really thought that Hopkins was going to go back.
But they big time traded for Will Anderson. Yeah. Are you not going to credit them
No.
Because that was a huge... I was so shocked when they did. I think everybody was shocked.
Right.
When they announced the first trade that ever happened of that draft to get Will Anderson, so they picked CJ Stroud, and then the Cardinals trade the pick to Houston to get Will Anderson. This is... Perhaps right now it seems like not a lot of talk about it. I think it's an underrated draft. I don't think there's going to be much talk until you see some production here, until you see the results. But this is like big time risk moves that they're going here by going a lot on the defensive side here, but then also kind of mixing in a little bit of the offense. They drafted some wide receivers too. So I think it might be pretty good, but we'll see.
No, you're absolutely right in the sense that Houston Texans did have a great draft. I had them in my second place in my list. For me, it was the Eagles just because Jalen Carter dropped so much, and for them,
9.
To 9 exactly. But for them to get C.J. Stroud, which is a top tier quarterback that a lot of teams even thought that he was going to go number 1, and then plus that to get Anderson from Alabama, which a lot of people even like him more than Jalen Carter. So yeah, I had the Houston Texans as the second winner of this draft.
I would have been curious to see what the Cowboys, if they even had an opportunity to make a call for the number 3 spot with Cardinals, since they were getting all kinds of calls for the number 3 pick. I would have liked to see the Cowboys be a little bit more aggressive on trying to get that number 3 pick to pick up Jalen Carter, what I think is the best interior lineman right there.
Well, but don't you think that the Cowboys would have to give up so much? I mean, they picked really, really late, and who they traded with was with the Houston Texans, they were picking like 12, I think.
Yeah, but we talked about this before it started. Mm-hmm. Will McClay, he said he considers interior defensive lineman to be a long-term good path to take whenever you draft someone like that, and this is a long-term solution here. So he can be great for years and years on end. Wouldn't you at least be considering it?
Yeah, of course you consider. And just for anybody listening, Will McClay he's like the head scout for the Cowboys. They've been drafting really well, and I think we should all give him the most credit out of anybody in that war room for the Cowboys. It's him and his people. So I still don't think that it would have been viable for him to trade up so high up to get a player. They would have to give up so much. This year's their pick in first round this year and next year,
and the next year,
and maybe the following year. I'm not too sure. Maybe
we have to see what the prospects were, but
Yeah.
I mean, I guess since they didn't do it, maybe they saw their 2024 first round to be very valuable to see what they have for the next prospects. I don't know. Maybe they just simply weren't interested. I don't know, but I would have liked to see maybe at least some rumors that were out there that they were making some possible aggressive moves. I would have liked to see that, but that's just me.
Well, what about, okay, since we're kind of in the topic, I just want to get your opinion. How did the Dallas Cowboys draft go for you?
It was super conservative. I think it was pretty obvious. On Twitter, I saw a lot of fans upset about every single pick that they made. They were comparing Mozzie Smith to the next Taco Charlton. I think it was completely unreasonable, personally. I think that people are overreacting as usual. It's just normal. But yeah, I mean, you expect to go with a big star, or even like some people are expecting a tight end. A lot of talk about a tight end, but I think that was just people, because Dalton Schultz left, they got to be filling in the holes for a tight end position. No,
and then the Buffalo Bills jumped over them to draft Kincaid.
So it was just like a great bluff move, first of all. I think it was a wasted move by the Bills. I don't think they were going to pick a tight end in the first place. I think this was all just a bluff by the Cowboys, personally. I might be completely wrong, but with this is what it seemed like. And I think this is what a lot of people seem like this is what the Cowboys were trying to do.
Well,
they weren't really
their first draft.
They weren't revealing their cards.
Their first draft pick looks pretty good. A lot of analysts are saying that they had him like as a defensive lineman, as one of the top tier players in this draft. And like we said before we spoke on this podcast, that in the weight room and in college they had to buy more weights for him because he's so strong and dynamic. So it's going to be very interesting. Yeah, for sure.
It's exciting. Let's move on to, now that I mentioned before about DeAndre Swift, who was a Detroit Lion running back, and he was supposed to be a star, right? Especially in fantasy. Didn't go so well for Yams because, you drafted him and he got injured. He didn't do the best, but talent-wise, he's pretty good when he's healthy. And now we see him move over to the Philadelphia Eagles. He was traded to the Philadelphia Eagles. Is this a smart move by the Lions?
Absolutely. He can't stay healthy with the Lions, and they had to get rid of him. He's probably in a better situation, a better fit with the Eagles. And, oddly, what I just mentioned earlier is the Eagles drafted 3 players from the Bulldogs, Georgia Bulldogs, and Swift is also from Georgia Bulldogs. So maybe there's some connection there.
I believe that, yes, it was good for the Lions to trade him because of his injuries. Cut your losses quickly. But I just don't think that they did a good job drafting Gibbs so high. I don't think you should have wasted your high pick on that running back. You could have drafted another running back in the second round probably. And as long as you have a really good offensive line, it's going to work for you.
Yeah, it goes back again to the talk of like you usually don't risk it all on drafting a running back in the first round. So I think when they, at least what I thought, whenever they drafted Gibbs, I was like, okay, so either DeAndre Swift is moving or David Montgomery, which they just got. So that seemed pretty unlikely. So it seemed that it was all kind of moving towards DeAndre Swift moving, but to where? And it was the Eagles, sadly, because now they're just even more stacked up there. And this is a great move for the Eagles, and I think even a great move for the Lions. But I don't think the drafting Gibbs was a very smart move.
Horrible move.
Imagine him as the offensive rookie of the year, and then the Lions are going to look like a superstar.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he was, what was it, like top? He was a second running back off.
Yeah, it was first Bijan Robinson and then Gibbs.
But people were ranking him second best running back in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay. So what about the biggest NFL the biggest NFL draft surprise for you guys? What was that?
All the trades that went on. It was crazy, and it makes me believe that maybe just each team has players ranked differently in each chart, and all the hype that went for Will Levis. Poor thing, he was just on the camera the entire night. Why is he going number one? But that's just hype based on social media and or paid social media. I don't know, but That's one of the big surprises for me.
No, for me is what we talked about. Gibbs and Bijan Robinson being drafted so high. I would have think that NFL has a history of knowing that you shouldn't be drafting running backs so high. And you can build that offensive line and just get a decent running back and it'll cover you. So that's my biggest surprise.
To go off something different besides what you guys said, those are all surprises, but also the Jalen Carter getting picked number 9 overall. I thought that was way too late for him, in my opinion. I think even the Cardinals should have jumped at that chance, but I mean, it's also what they did. It wasn't the worst thing in the world. So getting in again, like someone like Jalen Carter, especially what he did during his college time, and what I've seen too when the whole thing started going off with Georgia, going all the way to the final. It was great stuff to see from him, and he seems like he might be a big wrecker in the league. So you guys were talking about Will Levis, right? He got this little bit of social media hype right before the draft. We saw him do some weird things on camera, like putting mayonnaise in his coffee, which is disgusting, by the way. Eating a banana with, I guess, the peel on, and it was kind of like brownish. I don't know. Fiber, I guess. That's why he does it. But he was garnering a lot of attention online, and there was talks that, he might be going somewhere in the first round, perhaps maybe in the top 15 somewhere, I guess. But we saw after the first round ended, they kept putting the camera on him sometimes. He was still on the board after 10 picks, 20 picks. He never got picked on the first round, guys. But eventually he did get picked by the Titans. So Will Levis gets picked by the Titans. Do you think he can be the starting QB for that team?
I think more likely, yes, more than not. Starting, I feel that the Titans are slowly trying to get off and away from Tannehill. And also, I don't think they were impressed with Malik Willis. So yeah, I do see at some point they are going to start Will Levis this year.
You're probably right. He is going to be starting probably later this year if they start struggling, which that's what I think. I think the Titans are in a sort of a rebuild mode. And they're just going to have a really hard time because they are in the AFC conference, which they have to compete against Burrow, Herbert, Mahomes, and now Aaron Rodgers. And they're in a rebuild mode. And, I mean, good luck to them, but it's going to be pretty hard with Will Levis.
Yeah, so they got Ryan Tannehill. They got Malik Willis, Will Levis, Monty Hooker. It's just going to be tough for him to, I think, compete with Ryan Tannehill right away. And I think, like you guys said, it's a rebuild mode going on here. I don't see why there should be a rush in starting him right away. I think you should take the time to develop him and maybe work on some weaknesses that he has, because I think he did have some pretty decent weaknesses that I think should have kept an eye on. And I think why was the reason why he didn't go in the first round. Some stuff needs to be ironed out there, but overall, I think there's just no reason for him to be starting.
Who did you say that they drafted Hooker?
No. He said
no. It's some other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, I don't think they would have drafted him if they weren't ready to move on from Tannehill and Malik. Maybe there is some hope for Malik Willis. I don't see it. I don't see it there, and I feel like they're gonna go with Will Levis, especially because they traded up for him in the second round. So. And
he's a second round. That doesn't mean that he's going to be like their future.
No.
Right? I mean,
it's a project. They're all projects.
It's a project, yeah, and it's a tryout. Let's see if he has the talent. He does have the arm strength, but do we know if he's going to be a capable big-time franchise quarterback? We don't know. And maybe they got a steal in the second round. We have no idea. We'll see.
I don't know about that. He kind of regressed in the last year of his college career.
Now, let's shift on over to a little bit of, I guess, not breaking news, but it is very, very big news in the quarterback market. Lamar Jackson finally got paid big money. I don't have the details right off the bat, but I know he is making the most out of all the quarterbacks right now, ahead of Jalen Hurts, not by much. Who do you think caved in this negotiation, Lamar Jackson or the Ravens?
I believe Lamar Jackson caved in. Lamar didn't have an agent, and I think he finally snapped out of the Watson dream and this contract he had. And we can thank Jalen Hurts' contract for that, because once that got signed, a week later or a week and a half later, Lamar and the Ravens agreed to a contract. So I think he just snapped out of it. I'm not going to get the Watson contract.
Yeah, I also believe Lamar Jackson is the one that caved, but he won a little bit. He didn't get the Deshaun Watson contract, but he did get the most guaranteed above Jalen Hurts, which Jalen Hurts went to the Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson hasn't. So he got a little bit away with a little win there. But I think the Ravens just got lucked out that Jalen Hurts got paid. And it shows that if Jalen Hurts got paid 175, or was it 180 or 175?
185. Oh no.
Jalen Hurts.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, it was a little bit less. And now that Lamar Jackson got paid a little bit more than him. Yeah, guaranteed.
179.
179. So
and Lamar 185.
185, $6 million more. But it's the whole point is to be the highest paid quarterback. Even though Deshaun Watson is getting more guaranteed.
Well, he's getting fully Deshaun Watson, I'm sorry, it's 230, no?
Hold on.
Oh, contracts are always such a messy thing
guaranteed for Watson?
Yeah, fully? Or no?
It is fully guaranteed.
Was it 230?
It's not popping up.
Maybe it's a little bit more complicated with Deshaun Watson because he had all these kind of rape cases
fully
against
guaranteed says 230.
230.
230.
See? That's huge.
That's a lot. But here...
Well, inflation's over. Look. They brought it
down. No, but here, okay. So Lamar Jackson is getting paid more than Jalen Hurts, a Super Bowl quarterback. And Lamar Jackson hasn't even sniffed the Super Bowl, right? So... It is a win for Lamar Jackson to get paid a little bit more than Jalen Hurts. He didn't get Deshaun Watson money, but every NFL team probably is telling him it's ludicrous that you want Deshaun Watson money. And the Ravens are like, let's get you paid now because you are not a Herbert, you're not a Burrow type of quarterback to get paid what they're getting paid. Mm-hmm. So might as well get as much as you can right now, and then let's just play football.
Yeah, I just don't. I mean, I think a lot of us think that Lamar caved, but I think also there was some kind of playing around with the Ravens, trying to get the most out of them, and kind of also milking the time, right? Because I think he was going to stay a Raven. There is some at some point it was like, oh, he's not going to be a Raven anymore. But I think this was just a whole bunch of pressure that he was just putting on the Ravens, and he was just trying to get the most money out of the Ravens as much as possible, and eventually, it kind of worked out for him.
I think he was playing with the fact not being a Raven if someone else were to give him the contract that he wanted. But the fact that Jalen Hurts got the contract, that really helped him. Yeah. And probably, Mama Jackson's agent was like, you know what, you're getting more than Jalen Hurts. Let's go ahead and sign this contract.
Exactly. And there,
I would also say big credit too for them, for him not even to have an agent and to be able to get to that point.
Right.
Kind of crazy.
I'm curious to see if that's gonna trigger other players in the future to just be their own agents, right?
I'm sure the mom got her commission.
Yeah,
she's not working for free.
Hopefully, she gets a minimum a house for free paid off. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of money, honestly. 185, jeez, that's a lot of money. So
I cannot imagine that.
How much is enough money? How much is once you're fighting for money and 150, 175, when is okay, now you're just fighting for, I mean, I know millions and millions is a lot of money.
I mean, you put your body on the line, so especially if you're a quarterback too.
But over $100 million, yeah, you put your body on the line, and yeah, maybe in 10, 15 years, it's your back is gonna hurt or your leg is not the same. But you have more than $100 million, and with all of this technology, surgeries, the TB12 type of regimen to just
you still got people like Antonio Brown. There's no to a certain point, you can only do so much to have some kind of healthy regimen and taking care of yourself. Tom Brady, obviously, because he's not a runner. Lamar Jackson is a runner.
Well, speaking about Antonio Brown, he tweeted, I think, or there was type of rumor that he wants to go to the Ravens.
Stupid.
Well, I mean, if they have Lamar Jackson, not Lamar Jackson, they have Odell Beckham,
OBJ,
yeah. And if they put Antonio Brown, that can be a scary offense, no? And with Dobbs as the running back, and hopefully he starts working out better because he's got that type of swift type of running back that's injured. It could be an explosive offense.
Didn't they also draft a wide receiver, if I'm not mistaken? The Ravens?
Yeah, didn't they draft the top?
They drafted Jay Flowers.
Yeah, a top.
He was one of the top ones.
Right.
So he's getting more weapons. So this was a definitely big compliment after signing that contract, because first it was a contract and then the draft happened. And then they drafted a wide receiver first round to kind of be like, hey, we paid you. Here you go. We're helping you out,
No, he still has Andrews, the tight end. And
big help.
Well, we think he's a big help, but he didn't produce so many big numbers last year. And I mean, a lot of it has to do with Lamar Jackson's injury. But even when he was playing, it wasn't like big time numbers too.
No, and because also they didn't have much on the wide receiver end. It was a lot of Mark Andrews.
It was just covering him, huh? Basically.
Yeah. He was the deadliest weapon there out of all the receivers. It was Mark Andrews. So of course they're gonna game plan around him and Lamar Jackson. No, it's tough. It's good for them. They're trending in the right direction slowly but surely, and it took this amount of money to get ahead. So we'll see about that. Yeah. It's gonna be crazy over there in the AFC. So why not talk again about the AFC, but this time the AFC East? We got the New York Jets finally locking in with Aaron Rodgers here. Finally. Yams, you can finally do that big sigh of relief. It's done. It's over with. It's no more dream. It's actually happened. This is true. Pinch yourself because you're not dreaming. This is crazy.
I'm dreaming. I'm still dreaming. I'm still dreaming.
We're seeing teasers of Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball slowly in slow motion to what's his name, Wilson. It's crazy stuff we're seeing here. But yeah, he's finally a Jet. Aaron Rodgers is finally a Jet. Do we think that Aaron Rodgers will change his attitude now that he's on a brand new team? New thing going on, new situation.
I like the sound of that. Aaron Rodgers is a Jet. It gave me more. Absolutely, it's a changed attitude. He was in a hostile environment in Green Bay. The team drafted a quarterback in the first round 3 to 4 years ago, and they got Jordan Love. That's a sign of disrespect to Aaron Rodgers. He's already training with the team. He's been out and about. He's been spotted supporting other New York teams, so he's all in.
Yeah, he is going to be changing his attitude. I remember a podcast interview with Joe Rogan. Aaron Rodgers loves to prove people wrong. There was a teacher that the teacher told him that he wasn't going to be going to the NFL, and Aaron Rodgers said, "Watch me." And I think it's going to be the same type of situation over here with the Jets. Going to want to show the Packers that look what you guys missed out on, and he's going to just bring everything. He's going to come show up in the workouts and just play lights out.
Oh yeah, for sure. And there's nothing like the Green Bay Packers right after trading their franchise quarterback to going back to not giving the quarterback any help whatsoever in the draft. It's amazing what they're able to do. So I'm 100% sure after Aaron Rodgers saw that, he's even more relieved that he's with the Jets. He's going to be so happy. It's a new team, new situation, and even way better for what he had back with the Packers. So he's 100%. He's going to give his 101%. It's going to be great to see him. It might be really scary what he's going to be able to do with that team. We don't know yet, but I just kind of wanted to see it. I want to jump already to the season starting, not even the preseason. Just get the season started. I want to see what this guy can do with this team.
Let's do it. I'm ready. Goosebumps. I'm ready. My ticket to the Super Bowl is. I'm booking it.
You might as well just tattoo it. You gotta get it tattooed already. Come on.
Super
they
Bowl
gotta be the Super Bowl champions.
Man, AFC conference is super hard. I mean, you have so many quarterbacks now. Lamar Jackson is bad. I mean, jeez, man, he's bad. Yeah, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Burrow, Herbert.
And I think that's even more motivation for Rodgers. He's ready to prove the doubters wrong. He wants to be a top quarterback in the AFC.
I'll tell you something. The Jets defense are the ones that need to step up more this year.
Well, they got Will McDonald.
They did.
So
yeah, they have to step it up because that's what's going to actually help. It's not Aaron Rodgers against Patrick Mahomes or Justin Herbert or Burrow. It's the defense against those quarterbacks, and they're the ones that need to step up.
And I think they did pretty decent to kind of beef up just a little bit.
I mean, they won games with Mike White and Joe Flacco. I imagine if they had if they had a normal type of quarterback, and now they have an exceptional quarterback, they should be winning a lot more games.
Yeah, scary stuff. Scary stuff for sure.
I'm sure that the Jets fans are going to be extremely happy if the Jets beat the Patriots twice.
They even got a center in the second round, and if I'm not wrong, he was projected to go first round for some teams.
Yeah, he seems pretty solid.
Low-key, I got a haircut to resemble Aaron Rodgers. I think Greg Clips butchered it a bit, but but
Yeah,
that's what I
maybe
did.
No, not it. That's not it. I'm excited to see what the Jets have in store for us.
Well, you as a Cowboys fan, what do you? I mean, you know
Yeah,
how
I mean,
Aaron
I'm watching
Rodgers
from the
always
other
destroys
side.
the Cowboys.
Yeah, and they're facing them this year, which is it's got to be a setup. There's no way. Like, what the heck? What are the odds that even he moves over to the AFC and oh, how convenient. He still plays them this year. Like, oh, God.
Yeah.
The Cowboys can never run away from him. It's a curse. Aaron Rodgers is a curse too. He owns the Chicago Bears and the Cowboys. I hate to say that, but it's true.
And it could be a primetime game, too, for all the country to see as well.
Probably will be.
Yeah, if both teams are solid, it's going to be an amazing game to watch. Probably one of the top 5 games of that season.
Yeah, for sure. It's there. No, the Jets are going to have a lot more primetime games, and it's funny because last year they only had one, only one Thursday.
Yeah, they are.
Thursday night against
the
Jacksonville
Jaguars, and with Trevor Lawrence. It was a horrible game. It was horrible. Zach Wilson couldn't do anything. It just proved more in a national stage that he wasn't ready at all, or he's not even an NFL type of caliber quarterback.
No, I think he is.
No,
he needs work.
A lot of work. I mean, he couldn't even do screen passes. He looked awful. And you have Mike White showing him up. And Joe Flacco probably played better, and he's already like...
No, Joe Flacco did not play better.
I don't know. It's kind of close. How they played, it looked pretty close.
No. Anyways, that's old news. Aaron Rodgers, moving forward, that's all I want to hear.
Man, Zach Wilson, absolutely out of the picture. He just got shoved out of the frame. Amazing. Who would have seen that coming? Not me.
No one saw this coming. No one saw Aaron Rodgers being a Jet. I could tell you I didn't think so. Not last year.
We still have years on Zach Wilson's contract. So we're going on year number 3. So
how much?
I don't know if that guy will even be a Jet next year.
So they can pick up his 5th-year option if they
want to. That would be the conversation next year.
That would be the conversation next year. Yeah, but that's already 4 years. So they can hold on to him as much as they want.
Yeah, they can. But he's going to be disgruntled, and he's going to want to start.
I don't think so. No, this guy, he's always said it. His idol is Aaron Rodgers. So this is his biggest opportunity to improve and to learn from his idol.
He's cashing checks, sitting down and learning from Aaron Rodgers. He's like in the perfect position to just learn.
But do you think his ego will get in the way? That's what I'm concerned about.
I don't think so.
Because he does have a little bit of an ego.
I think he learned that the hard way. I think he relearned his lesson after what happened.
You think he's humbled now?
I think just having Aaron Rodgers in the room just humbles you. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to say?
Yeah,
honestly.
it would for me. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
We have to see because we won't know. We won't know until a whole season, I think, passes by. What if he gets injured, dude? Oh my gosh, that would be the worst.
Don't even say that.
And then Zach Wilson comes in. You know?
Well, it's not going to be Zach Wilson. It's going to be the other quarterback. What was his name?
Mike White?
No.
Well, we don't know who it's going to be.
Mike White has been traded. He's no longer.
Miami Dolphins.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Mike White's with Miami.
Oh, you're right. He's with Miami.
Yeah, they got a veteran quarterback, and he was a Packer too.
Yeah, but Tim Boyles or something like that. I don't.
Well, he's going to be the backup. That's not going to be Zach Wilson.
They also got someone else. They're going to have a competition, obviously. Who's the backup? I think.
It's Tim Boyle, Zach Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, and then Chris
Stradler. He's probably out the door.
Yeah. Oh, he's the buff guy, right?
Right.
He was running around. Hey, he gave him a spark in that Thursday night game. And
let's move on. I don't want to hear old horrible news. Let's move on.
Well, I'm just saying that if they won games last year with bad quarterbacks, imagine now they have decent quarterbacks, a decent quarterback, a really, really good decent quarterback, and with weapons too. They have Lazard, they have Garrett Wilson. What really bothers me is that running game, but we'll see.
They got a running back in the 6th round or the 5th round.
Right. That tells you a little bit that they have to be a little bit cautious. I don't think Breece Hall is going to be ready in the beginning of the season.
No, he's not.
It's an ACL. 2 years. They need help on that running game. Hopefully this new rookie is going to be able to help that too. Because Michael Carter, for me, he's like a C+, B- type of running back.
Well, the Jets seem pretty excited to have that running back, so we'll see what happens. Wait, is Jamal Williams? Can they still get him? He's not on the team, right?
Jamal Williams got traded to.
Yeah, he's traded.
Oh, he got traded.
Or signed.
No, he got signed. Yeah, he was a free agent. He got signed.
He did get signed, but no, he's not there anymore. He got signed by the Saints, I think.
Yeah, the Saints.
Yeah.
Hey, Zeke Elliott's sitting right there, man.
Zeke Elliott's waiting.
Not the worst thing in the world.
AT&T Stadium waiting to get re-signed.
He's waiting, just sitting outside the door. That's not out the window, by the way. All right, but I think we gotta end it here because we're running out of time. Yeah, it's exciting. We still got ways to go for the off season, or for the training camp. So I just wanted to start already, but it takes forever. But whatever, we still have ways to go. So still some interesting stuff could happen. D-Hop might go somewhere eventually. I don't know. We'll have to see. But this is going to be it for this episode of the Football Tailgaters. Thank you guys for listening to the very end, and we'd love to see you guys giving your opinion with us on our social media, which is football_tailgaters on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Thank you guys again for listening, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.